Hello and welcome to my Alan for Smiling Friends crochet tutorial. Today you will need a 3.5mm crochet hook, scissors, a row counter, doll eyes, stitch marker, yarn needle, red yarn, white yarn, black yarn, and teal yarn. We are going to start off with his body, so grab your red yarn and make a magic ring, and inside of the magic ring, place 8 single crochet. This will count as your row 1. Make sure to close the magic ring when you are done. For row 2, we are going to make 8 increases. For one increase, you will just place 2 single crochet inside of 1 stitch. So you will do that 8 times, and at the end you should have 16 stitches in the row. And this is what it should look like when you are done with row 2. Here's where I like to grab a stitch marker just so I don't lose my place while counting. Now for row 3, we are going to start off with an increase once again, 2 single crochet inside of 1 stitch. And then after that, in the second stitch, you'll place 1 single crochet. Once again, make an increase, 2 single crochet inside of the same stitch, and then place 1 single crochet. You will repeat this increase and single crochet pattern until you have 24 stitches in the row. And this is what it should look like when you are done. Now for rows 4, 5, and 6, so rows 4 through 6, you'll place 1 single crochet inside of each stitch. So rows 4 through 6, they will all have 24 single crochet. So here's me finishing off row 4. This is about what it should look like. And here's what row 6 should look like when you are done. Now before we start on row 7, we are going to make the part that makes his neck curved. So you will turn your entire piece just like this, and then you will make 8 single crochet. And once you are done with that, you will turn your entire piece and make 7 single crochet. And once you are done with that, turn your work again, and then make 6 single crochet. Do you see the pattern? Every row we turn and then do 1 less single crochet that we did in the last. So after this, you will turn and do 5 single crochet. And then after that, turn and do 4 single crochet, turn and do 3, turn and do 2. And once you have finished those 2, you'll be done with the curved part. And here is me finishing the last 2 single crochet. Now when you are done, you can see that there is like a little staircase. You'll be single crocheting into that for row 7. So grab your stitch marker, and then for row 7, you are going to make 24 single crochet. So single crochet into the top 2, and then go down the staircase and make a single crochet. Then you will keep going down the staircase, single crocheting, and then you will single crochet in the normal parts, and then you will have to go up the staircase. And once again, at the end, you should have 24 stitches in the round. And here's where you should be at the end of row 7. So keep in mind where that stitch marker was, right here, before you put it into this new stitch. And now for rows 8 through 20, you will just be doing 24 single crochet like normal, which should be a lot easier since you have crocheted into all of the staircase parts. So here's me when I have finished crocheting row 8. This is about what it should look like a little weird helmet thing. And then here's what it should look like when you are done with row 20. Now before we start row 21, we are going to once again make another staircase. But don't turn your work just yet. We have to make 8 regular single crochet first, just so it lines up with the first staircase. Now we can turn our work and repeat the staircase or curve parts as we did previously. So once again, turn your work around, and then make 8 single crochet. And then after that, you will turn your work, do 7 single crochet, turn, 6 single crochet, turn, 5 single crochet, turn, 4 single crochet, turn, 3 single crochet, and finally turn 2 single crochet. And here's me finishing the last 2 single crochet right at the top. I will turn my work again, grab my stitch marker. Then after that, for row 21, we are going to be going down the staircase, and then single crocheting like normal, and then single crocheting up the staircase. Once you are done, you should have 24 single crochet in the round. And this is what should look like when you are done with row 21. Now move your stitch marker, and then for rows 22 and 23, you will be placing 24 single crochet like normal. So here's the end of row 22, and here's the end of row 23. Now for row 24, we are going to start off with a decrease. So grab the first two front loops of the next two stitches and single crochet with them. Then you'll do one normal single crochet. Once again, make a decrease, grab the first two front loops, and then place a single crochet. You will repeat this decrease and single crochet pattern 8 times until you have 16 stitches in the row. And here's me finishing row 24. Before we do the last row, we are going to need to grab our polyfill, stuffing, yarn, whatever you are using to fill this guy up, and then just stuff them. I find that polyfill works the best for me, but use whatever you got. And here is what he should look like when he is all stuffed up. Now, for the last row, which is row 25, we are going to make 8 decreases. So 8 times you will grab the first two front loops of the 2 stitches after, and single crochet with them. And once you are done with row 25, remove your stitch marker and cut off a long tail so we can sew this guy up closed. So grab your yarn needle, put the yarn through the eye of the needle, and then what I like to do is I like to sew the needle through the front loops of every stitch in the last round. And once you are done with that, you can tie a couple knots and then stick the needle through the body and cut off any excess yarn that may or may not be there. Now you may need to squish him around a little bit to get him to shape, but this is about what his body should look like when you are done. Next, we are going to work on his nose. So once again, grab your red yarn, make a magic ring, and then put 6 single crochet inside of the magic ring. Make sure to close the magic ring when you are done, and that is the end of row 1. For row 2, we are going to make 6 increases. So 6 times you'll be placing 2 single crochet inside of the same stitch. At the end, you should have 12 single crochet in the row. And this is what should look like when you are done. Now for rows 3 and 4, you will just be placing 1 single crochet inside of every stitch. So for rows 3 and 4, you'll be making 12 single crochet. This is what it should look like when you are done with row 3, and this is what it should look like when you are done with row 4. Now just cut off a long tail, and then stuff the nose, and then we can sew it onto the body. I usually sew the nose in this position right here. I will speed this part up though, so you can see exactly what I am doing. When you are done sewing on the nose, make sure to tie a couple knots just so he stays extra secure. Then when you are done tying the knots, stick the needle through the body and cut off any excess yarn that may or may not be there. And with that, you have finished making and sewing on Alan's nose. Next, we are going to make his eyes. So grab your white yarn, make a slip knot, and for row 1, you'll be making 4 foundation single crochets. If you cannot or do not know how to make foundation single crochets, you can just chain 5 and then do 4 single crochet. When you are done, do not turn your work. Instead, just crochet into the part on top. You will do 4 single crochet, and then in this little loop part at the end, you'll be making an increase. So put 2 single crochet inside of it. Then once again on the top, 4 single crochet. Then after the 4, you'll make an increase, so 2 single crochet. And after that, cut off a long tail, and that is the end of the first eye. You'll need to make 1 more, and before we sew them onto the body, we'll need to grab our 12mm doll eyes and attach them to the eyes. And once you are done with that, then you can finally sew them onto the body. I will speed this part up just so you can see exactly where I sew them onto and how I do it. Make sure to tie a couple knots when you are done sewing on the eye. And then stick the yarn needle through the body and cut off any excess yarn that may or may not be there. Repeat this process and mirror the eyes to each side of the body. And once you are done sewing on the eyes, grab some black yarn and use this to sew on a little mouth. I don't really know how to explain how to do it if I'm gonna be honest, but I will just speed this part up so you can see what I'm doing. Once you're done sewing on the mouth, make sure to tie the two ends together and then just stuff them into the body and cut off any excess yarn. And with that, we have finished the head, or I guess you could say the face part of Alan. Next, we are going to make his tie. So grab your teal yarn, make a slip knot, and then make 32 foundation single crochet. If you cannot do a foundation single crochet, then chain 33 and then single crochet 32. Once you are done with the 32 foundation single crochet, that will be the end of your row 1. This is what it should look like. Now turn your work so you are working at the bottom, then single crochet 2. That'll be row 2. Turn your work, and then do 2 more single crochet. That will be your row 3. For row 4, turn your work, do 1 single crochet, and then 1 increase, so 2 single crochet inside of that 1 stitch. Then for row 5, turn, and do 3 single crochet. And then for row 6, turn, and do 3 more single crochet. For row 7, turn your work, and do 2 single crochet, and then 1 increase, so 2 single crochet in that 1 stitch. Turn your work, and then do 4 single crochet, and then turn your work and do 4 single crochet again. Then for row 10, turn your work and do a decrease. Grab the first 2 front loops and single crochet with them, and then do 2 single crochet after. Turn your work, and for the last row, make another decrease, so grab the first 2 front loops and single crochet with them, and then do 1 single crochet. And with that, you have finished making Alan's tie. Now you just need to cut off a long tail, and then sew it on around his neck, or just on his body. At the end, remember to tie a couple knots just so that the tie stays on, and then stick the needle through the body and cut off any excess yarn. And with that, you have finished making and sewing on Alan's tie. Next, we are going to make his legs. So grab your red yarn and make a magic ring. Inside of the magic ring, place 6 single crochet. Make sure to close the magic ring, and that will be the end of your row 1. Now for rows 2 through 5, you will just be placing 1 single crochet in each of the stitches. So rows 2, 3, 4, and 5 will all have 6 single crochet in their respective rows. Here's what the end of row 2 should look like, and here's what the end of row 5 should look like. Now we are going to make the curved part of his legs. So turn your work, and then do 4 single crochet. Once you're done with that, turn your work and do 3 single crochet. And finally turn your work one more time and do 2 single crochet. Now before I continue on with the rest of the leg, I like to stuff this little foot part. It's harder to stuff it when there's the rest of it. I'm using black yarn and just like poking it in with my hook. Once you are done with that, you're going to turn your work and do 6 single crochet. So start off by doing the 2 single crochet at the top, and then do 1 single crochet in that little staircase, and then do 2 single crochet normally at the bottom part, and then do 1 more single crochet up the staircase, and that will be the end of your row 6. Now for rows 7 through 18, you will just be doing 6 single crochet like normal. Here's me finishing row 7. And also, while you are working, since this leg is going to be pretty tall, I like to lightly stuff the leg while I'm going. So after every few rows, I will just add a little bit of stuffing. Here is the leg when it is finished. Now you just need to cut off a long tail so you can sew it onto the body. And make sure to go back and repeat all the steps so you have 2 legs. Now you just need to sew the legs onto the body. I will speed up the part where I sew on one of the legs just so you can see how I do it. Don't forget to tie a couple knots at the end just so it stays extra secure. And then stick your needle through the body and cut off any excess yarn. Now you just need to sew on the other leg and then you will be done with his legs. Here's what they should look like when you are done. Now it is time to work on his arms, which is also the last part of him. Now for the last time, grab your red yarn and make a magic ring. And inside of the magic ring, place 6 single crochet. And once you are done, that is the end of row 1. Now for rows 2 through 15, you'll just be making 6 single crochet. So through rows 2 through 15, they will each have 1 single crochet in each of the stitches. So this is the end of my row 2, and this is the end of my row 15. With the arms, you are able to stuff them more easily after you have finished making them, or you can just stuff them along the way. Usually with the arms, though, I stuff them after the fact. Don't forget to make a second arm and cut off a long tail so you can sew them onto the body. Before you sew the arms onto the body, grab your yarn needle, stick the yarn through the eye of the needle, and then just sew the top part of the arm closed. I call this flattening the top if you ever read my patterns. Once you are done with that, you can more easily sew the arm onto the body. Make sure to tie a couple of knots just so the arm stays extra secure. Stick the needle through the body and cut off any excess yarn. Repeat all the previous arm steps one more time so you have his other arm. And this is what he should look like when you are done. I hope this tutorial was easy enough to follow and that you like your outline that you came up with. If you make him, please make sure to tag me on my Instagram so I can see it.